What is up, people? All you wonderful people. Hopefully, we will have Joe and Charles joining us soon here. Sorry for the late start, but we had a great time over at Independent Joe's channel. Hopefully, you guys were over there watching me completely lose. I got destroyed tonight. Scorecard ended up being something like 3-10 or 2-10, whatever the thing. Either way, hope you guys had fun. Joe was awesome, great host, and cheers to Joe for making that awesome shirt. Joe puts so much into his lives. I need to step it up. Clearly, all I do is make a crappy thumbnail and then just hop on this StreamYards thing and talk to you guys. Anyway, thank you guys, all of you that were over there. Charles, I see you in chat, so feel free to hop on anytime if you're up to it. Yeah. Sean probably made another run to the head. You're right, because I'm old, as Joe said earlier. Had to pee again. I've drank way too much water and whiskey tonight. Let's see who we got in here tonight. So AZ, we got Dimetron, the other Sean. Who else? We got Woods, obviously. We got Cohen. Hopefully you're still here, brother. Let's see. Of course, Charles from Fun with Whiskey. And again, folks, if you're not subbed to Fun with Whiskey, I don't know what you're doing with your life. In any case, thank you guys so much for being here in chat. Let's see. I will just be in chat for now. Stuff is going on. We'll be active. Okay, fair enough. Cool. I'll do a blind with Joe. Just send him 5 samples of Walter drink all his good stuff. That's a good plan, man. I like that. That's what I should have done. I'm bad at strategy apparently. Joe sent me some great stuff. Glass sample B, the Garrison Brothers. Man, that was excellent. I don't know why people crap on Garrison Brothers so much. That was awesome. Also, let's see here. No shame in losing to someone like Joe. That dude knows his whiskey. He does. And also, his collection is much larger than mine. Not that that's a good excuse. But anyway, also, that's not really what I do. Let's get some stuff poured here. Let's get this guy right here. So this review will be out very shortly. So I'm not going to really review it tonight. So you can come on camera. You can do the things. I don't know what I look like over there on the YouTubes. Hopefully good. This is the A122. Got this week. Come on, come back to me, camera. Got this week, and we're going to use Joe's Glen Cairn he sent me here to pour this in. I hope you guys can hear me okay. I hope I look decent. So the review will be out Wednesday, breaking up this March Madness thing a little bit. The Final Four for March Madness will be out on Saturday. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. Woods, let's just say I am not disappointed at all in you recommending Rowan's Creek to me. That was one of the best bourbons I've found under $40. So if you guys haven't tried it, go out there and get a bottle. Yeah, I think that's it, exactly. People crap on Garrison Brothers because of the price, for sure. And it is incredibly high. So Joe shared with me offline what he paid, and I won't share it, but it is high. It was higher than I expected. So I won't be getting a bottle, but it is excellent. It is an excellent bourbon. Garrison Brothers Cowboy, how much? Can't tell you because he didn't want to share online, so I won't do that. But it's pricey. It is pricey. North Carolina is up on Duke, 69. That's the thing that's going on. That's why Charles won't join us. He's watching basketball. That's fair, though. And to be fair, there's a lot of good games going on. Let's see, my phone is giving me notifications. We won't talk about basketball a whole lot, but there are a lot of things going on right now. Let's see. In the NBA, what are let's see. So Cavaliers beat the Knicks 119-101. And where are my other notifications at? There were more teams playing. I'm not sure what happened. So the real March Madness is what Charles was keeping up with. Let's see here. You did great with Indpndnt Joe. It was great to see you for the first time. Now made it here. Oh, well, hey, Stephen Burkow, thank you so much. Appreciate that, brother. Hopefully, we continue to be entertaining tonight. I hope my camera is not too craptastic. I feel like I'm blurry. It didn't like refocus after I showed the Glen. There we go. And yeah, going back to, let's see, I think it was AZ's comment that the cowboy whiskey, I guess I just inherently have to love it because of the hat and all that stuff. But it was really good. I think you should have sent Joe a sample of Long Branch to throw him off and to piss. Yeah. So, Anthony, wherever you are out there in the ether and this whiskey tube thing, I hope you see that message at some point because I should have. Because it would have been hilarious if Joe picked Long Branch as his favorite bottle. But let's get into this ECBP A122. So, my buddy, my neighbor, ASP3, he found this for me a couple hours away. He does a lot of driving around. He was able to pick this bottle up for me. Appreciate that very much because it's hard to find here. Man, not going to spoil the review, but it's good. It's a good one. Man, that's exactly what I want out of a barrel proof bourbon. Man, is that good. All right. If you like Rowan's Creek, Wood says, then you need to try Noah's Mill. I've been thinking about that, Woods, and so I need to go ahead and pull the trigger because as long as you can promise me it's not like the pot still. That is my line in the sand as far as Willet goes. Because Johnny Drum is not bad. I think it's acceptable for a $30-ish bourbon. I wouldn't say it's top of the pile in the $30 price range, clearly, because it lost pretty early in the best under 40, at least for me. But that said, I think it's fine. Like if somebody poured it for me, I wouldn't be upset. But then Rowan's Creek is, man, it's a whole, at the proof point, at the price point, whatever, it's so unique. That's what's interesting to me is I don't know of many other bourbons in the price point that are that unique. Across the bourbon spectrum, because as a whole, bourbon is fairly similar. There's these very typical notes that you get kind of across the board. Your brown sugar, your vanilla, your caramel, your cinnamon. That's a very common one. Black pepper notes, toasted oaks, kind of charred notes. I would say that some dark fruits are fairly common, but to find this like orange creamsicle note, that's not something you run across real often. And Rowan's Creek just nails it. So fun fact, something to look forward to, guys, coming up. So the first episode of what I'm going to call What Can This Freaking Pony Bottle Beat? So What Can Blanton's Beat will be the name of this continuing series. So once a month, I will do a episode of What Can Blanton's Beat? And the first round is the Final Four of our March Madness. So our Final Four, if you haven't been keeping up, all the videos are out now, so you can pretty well surmise what the Final Four is Woodford, Cooper's Craft, Rowan's Creek, and Maker's 46. So those are the four that will be going up against Blanton's here. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but it gets interesting. And I got to say, Rowan's Creek does really well in that as well. It's just some bourbons punch above their weight price point wise, and some of them do not, in my opinion. I think all four of our Final Four finalists punch above their price point. Whereas the freaking My Little Pony bottle doesn't. It does not even punch well at its price point. I think it performs incredibly poorly even at MSRP. Personally, I think Blanton's is a $40 to $50 bottle. That's what it drinks like. It drinks like a $40 to $50 bottle. I don't think it's worth $1 more than that. Unfortunately, it's much higher than that all over the place. So yeah. Here's what we're gonna do, because Charles is busy, and I don't want to carry the conversation all night because I have a lot of whiskey in me, and I'm probably slurring. So let me find the StreamYard link. Let's copy that to clipboard. And I see you, Prescription Bourbon. I see you're in there. So if you want to hop on, if anyone wants to hop on, let's see if I can do this here. You guys let me know if this shows up. Hopefully it does. Hopefully you guys can see that. So if you want to hop on, feel free to do so. And that includes anybody, as long as you're not, butt naked or some craziness. Feel free to hop on. We do try and keep it kind of family friendly, so don't go crazy cursing. We would appreciate that. Otherwise, feel free to hop on, talk whiskey or other nonsense with me. That would be great. So let me catch up on chat here a little bit. Phoenix is killing it, but they will fold in the end. Do you think so? I don't know, AZ. I feel like this is the year that Phoenix finally does it. Granted, there is a lot of great competition in the NBA, but I hope that CP3 finally gets the ring he deserves. We'll see how it goes, and there's a lot of teams. There's a lot of teams I am pulling for. I'd love to see Giannis pull out another one and get another ring. I like his attitude. I like he's one of, as far as like a human being, he is one of my favorite people in the NBA right now. Durant is this kind of controversial figure that sometimes I like him, sometimes he says some stuff that I don't really care for. But either way, I think it'd be cool to see Brooklyn win one. Also, I like Kyrie just because, and then this is also controversial, but I like that he didn't bow down to the government. Regardless of how you feel about, getting the jab and all that nonsense, I don't like people that bend the knee to their government. So it's not even about all that, about whether you get the thing or not. I don't care about that so much. That's your personal choice. I just don't like when people are forced to do things. I hate it, actually. So, Kyrie has said some craziness in the past, but props to him for sticking to his beliefs, whatever that may be. And props to anybody like that, honestly. Bottles with cowboys or wild animals make the bourbon taste up to 30% better. It is science. That's got to be correct, AC. That's probably in a book somewhere. I'm sure that you are right. Cowboy hats and animals. Although not always true, because the ego on this doesn't make it taste any better. So, and I like Eagles. I like Eagles a lot. It just doesn't make it taste any better. And also, I guess Buffaloes don't do it for me a whole lot, although it did fairly well. It moved along some. Noah's Mill has the same basic profile, but with more proof and a bit darker flavor. Interesting. That sounds interesting for sure. Commandante Lou, what is up, brother? How we doing, man? Good to see you. Evening all. Yes, cheers to you, man. Cheers to Commandante Lou and everyone in chat right now. Thank you, guys. Thank you for popping over here. Appreciate it very much. I have still not tried 46. You need to, man. You need to. It's a good one. Orange creamsicle. Yeah, prescription bourbon, man. Yeah. That's what I get on Rowan's Creek. It's so uncanny. And so growing up, that was one of my favorite dessert items. I just love that flavor profile, that kind of creaminess with the orange, that sweet orange. And Rowan's Creek just like nails that kind of profile. Now, granted, you have your other bourbon things going on, So it's a little bit different. It's not just orange creamsicle, but that orange creamsicle note is fantastic. I've yet to get to know his mill. Me as well. We both got to step up our games, man. We got to get to know his mill. Apparently, that's the next thing on the list. Love the reveal. I was drinking Woodinville bourbon, rye, and port. My bourbon was not tainted like yours. Yeah, so again, I have to assume, because there's people that really, really love Woodinville. So I have to assume that I have a bad bottle, bad batch, whatever the case. I know that Woodinville is more truly a small batch bourbon because of the size of the company. So I have to assume that, that I just got a bad one. Excuse me, folks. Still getting over this kind of cold, whatever the thing is, allergies. I don't know what it is. So whatever it is, it doesn't do it for me. So, but there's a lot of folks that are insisting I got a bad batch. So thanks to them, I will have some samples of some other Woodinville stuff coming up really soon. Sorry, I'm coughing here. Get some water in me. So as soon as I get those, I will review those, and I will review them fairly because I don't care about name brands. I don't know if you guys have watched the channel. I think you probably know that. It's just, does it taste good or not? So if it's good, then I'm gonna say it's good. I don't care what the bottle says. So and Woodinville just tastes bad to me. It's just a bad bottle. I mean, just like Bland's. At the price point, it's a bad bottle. I'm sorry. I don't care that the backstory and all the nonsense doesn't do it for me. The time has arrived. I'm pouring the Hirsch. Hey, yeah. So thanks to Charles over at Phone Whiskey, I also got a sample of Hirsch, and I got to say, it was pretty good. I wish it was a little cheaper in my area. In my area, it's more like 40 to 45. But at the price that he's talking about, 25 to 30, I think it's a great bottle. At 40 to 45, it kind of loses me. So maybe if distribution gets better, then, hopefully prices drop. Also, did you guys see the... Okay, good. Okay, so that's what I was going to ask. The link is visible. Good. Okay. If one of the admins, if you guys can pin that link, I would appreciate it, because if anybody wants to get on, then I want them to be able to see it. So if any admin, there should be quite a few of you in chat. So if one of you can pin it, I would appreciate that very much. Bland's reminds me of Colonel Sanders for the same. Yeah, that's about right. Because let's face it, folks, KFC is not the best fried chicken. It's just not. And, it's famous. Obviously, it's in the name. But it's not, it's whatever. My tastes have changed quite a bit in the last few years, and it has been so long since I've had Blanton's, I don't even know if I would still like it or not. So I'm just like, there again, if you want to jump on, there's the link. On Blanton's, though, Blanton's is not a bad bottle. It's just boring to me. It's just a bottle that's completely forgettable. Yeah, so I don't know. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but there's nothing great about it. And by the way, the Blanton's review is coming up. It's already filmed. It's on the camera already. I just got to download it and edit it and all that stuff. But it is done. So that's coming. And you'll hear more things about it coming up. What is everyone drinking now? Good question. So again, I'm drinking ECBP A122. But yeah, let me know. What are you guys drinking? What are you guys enjoying? Stanley, my brother, what is up, buddy? Sorry, buddy. Forgot to holler at you. Forget it was wrestle. Oh, okay. I'll catch the replay. What bottle are you giving away? Oh, yes. So, thank you for reminding me, Stanley. So, let me grab this guy here. Well, actually, let me not. Because I'm going to do this in a very specific way. and we'll get into that then. So just hold tight, folks. We are giving away a bottle. I will bring it up naturally here in a little bit. Let me get back to chat, but don't go anywhere. There is a bottle giveaway. I promise. It's not clickbait. There is a bottle we're giving away. So hang out with me. Just have some patience. We're going to move along in chat here and talk about some other stuff. So, not since Sir Charles did we have a chance. Let's see. I'm lost. Anyway, wrestling. Yes, for sure. Fred Minnick told me that. I'm still lost. I agree. I dislike being forced to do things. Exactly. And even if, let's say, inoculation, that's the wrong word, whiskey's working, whatever the thing is, getting stuck with needles with things that come from the government, let's say that's a good thing. Even if it is, don't force me to do it. That's it. Anyway, Eagle Rare needs more consistency. Well, it's not going to happen because of the way that Buffalo Trace is doing it. So Eagle Rare is basically a single barrel. It's not quite because of how Buffalo Trace does things there. So all they're doing is they're taking barrels that will be Eagle Rare and they just keep sending them down the line. So they never clean the lines out. So you get some mix between barrels. But so, still 90% of each barrel is probably more than that is a single barrel. Unless they've changed their method. But the last I heard, that's how Buffalo Trace was doing things. So essentially, Eagle Rare is a single barrel. So consistency is not really a thing that's going to happen unless Buffalo Trace changes stuff. So, yeah, it is warm and tasty. I agree. I think Hearst is good. Like it up, y'all. Yeah. Yes, please do that. Hit the likes so more people can see the thing, so that more people come in here and have discussions with us and put stuff in the chat so I have more things to read because I'm doing such a great job so far of reading things. Let's just keep it going. Most Eagle Rares are actually single bottles due to the way. Oh, well, there you go. There you go. Steve Burkhoff saying basically the same thing I just said. You and I must have gotten the same batch of Woodinville, Sean, because mine tastes terrible too. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just I keep hearing there's good ones out there. It's kind of like playing the lottery, I guess. It's like sometimes you win, but apparently it's not real often. Whiskey Wars, I also sent Joe a Woodinville for our blind, but it was a cast strength. Okay, interesting. Yeah, maybe that would change things. I don't know. I haven't had Woodinville cast strength. I've only had the 90, and that turned me off so much that I'm afraid. So once I get these samples from some friends, some other whiskey tubers, if that changes my mind on Woodinville, then we'll pursue other things in the future. Well, I'll get some other bottles. Yeah, definitely got to try Noah's Mill. Alex, first of all, have correct. Okay. Noah's Mill leans toward cherry. Okay, interesting. Something to keep in mind. NC just beat Duke. Hey, very cool. Yes, Duke lost. I love it. I'm indifferent, but cool. I kind of wanted to see Duke win, but I don't really care, honestly. I live in Kentucky, so none of this matters to me. I splurged on a bottle of Blue Run High Rye this weekend. It's really good, but I don't think it lives up to the price or the hype. That's how I have felt about the 2 bottles of Blue Run I have tried at bars. Don't think it fits the price point. That's kind of woot, fun with whiskey. Yes, and guys, if you could please just drop Prescription Bourbon's link and Fun with Whiskey's link. Is there any other channels in the chat? Any other channels that I may have missed? I feel like I'm missing one. Anyway, drop their links in the chat so people can subscribe to these great guys. Let's see here. I think that the only channel holder can pin it. Right. Okay. Well, let me do a thing then. That's probably true, Charles. So I'm probably retarded. And well, let me do a thing then. You're getting some feedback briefly. That's my bad. Here we go. Let's find my own link. And we will pin Commandante Lou's message because that's easier to find. Thank you, Lou, for reposting that. Appreciate it, brother. All right, back to the chat now. And let me close out YouTube here. We don't need that running. I'm guessing that I don't know how things are looking over there, but probably sketchy because it's Kentucky. Bland's reminds me of a spark that comes with the little pocket of a. Did I read that right? Oh, spork. Yes, that makes more sense. I thought that was an A. Yeah, yeah. So it's like usable. Like you can use it in a pinch, like a spork. It'll get the job done, but it's not great. It's not a fork or a spoon. It doesn't do either role very well. It just kind of generally does the thing it's supposed to do, but it doesn't do anything great. So that's yeah, that I like that, AC. We're just going to call it the spork of bourbons. It does things that bourbons are supposed to do, but doesn't do anything very well. Go Jayhawks. There you go. Sorry for the coughing, folks. Still getting over this, whatever the thing is that I have. Blends is vanilla ice cream. Serviceable. Might even be your favorite, but not interesting, complex by design. I agree. So here's my thing, and we're going to get into this deeper as over the next couple of months because we're going to be reviewing quite a few single barrels, and it feels like what the bourbon industry is going after on single barrels is vanilla ice cream. It feels like that the profile they go after on single barrels is very tamed, sanded down, not spiky, sharp, or interesting barrels of bourbon. That's my take, I guess, but I find that in many different distilleries, when I get single barrels from them, that's what they're going after. They're going after very easy to drink, in my opinion, uninteresting barrels of bourbon. So I would love to hear what you guys think about that, because I don't think it's just Blanton's that is doing that same kind of thing. I think across the board, unfortunately, that's what I find in single barrels, except Russell's Store Picks. That's the only single barrel to me that stands out as not having that issue. Anyway, prescription bourbon. I had a sample of some Hirsch, 6-year cast strength, maybe. Yes, it was very good. Okay, cool. I will have to look out for that. We'll always pick UNC over Duke. Okay, fair. As I said, I'm indifferent because I'm a Kentuckian. So, Makers 101 or Evan Bibb, not sure which one I will pour. Okay, if I had to, flip a coin or make a choice, that's tough. Maybe Makers 101. I could go either way on that, honestly. I love both of them. I think they're both great. So I guess it's really more like, what do you have more of, AC? If you have more of one bottle, then pour that. If you want to save a bottle, whatever. So the phone with whiskey. Hopefully he sees that until jump up. Yeah. We're all calling for you, Charles. We need you over here. Never had Makers 101. Okay, just poured Found North batch 4. Okay, trying for the first time. I've never had that, Steve Burkow. So let us know. Let us know what you're getting. I'm curious. I'm not familiar with that distillery at all. Is it sourced? I don't know anything about it. So inform us. Sipping high. Oh, hey, there's one I do know about. Sipping Highland Park 12. Okay, I've got a scotch in here. That's always good. Even though I would say it's more lightly peated, that's one of my favorite scotches. When I sip on often, go back to it many, many times. I like it. I do like it. Not a bad pour at all. So cheers to prescription bourbon. That's one I would for sure be sipping right now if I weren't sipping this fantastic ECBP. Very limited. Okay. I will be. It will be okay. Cool. It will be North Carolina versus Kansas. All righty. Prescription bourbon, was that the yellow label Hirsch? Reported to be from Willet. Ah, interesting. Okay. How does it compare to the 46? Hang on, let me see. I can't remember. Does AZ have it? Reading is fundamental. Yeah. But it's not though, Charles, when you've drank too much. By the way, folks, I don't know. I can't remember what all the proof points were of what Joe sent me, but all of them were high. I know that. None of them were were low proof whiskey, and now I'm drinking another barrel proof. So yeah, it'll be a good night. Yeah, exactly. So you liked it so much you never tried 46. Yeah, so I didn't think AZ had 46 yet. I don't want to revisit Woodinville or ever or however you. Yeah. So it's actually an I. So it's funny that you spelled it that way, Charles, because I spelled it that way intentionally when I put up the review the first time, and everybody's like, "Oh, you don't even know how to spell Woodinville," and I was like, "Oh, well, I spelled it that way intentionally because it was to disrespect Woodinville because I don't care about their distillery or their bottle. I think it's a stupid bottle and company. They need to make better whiskey, so they don't deserve to be spelled right." Anthony, I see you. Just give me because I'm way behind on chat. I'm going to try and burn through this, catch up on chat, and we'll bring you on. So I see you. Once I taste something that is not good, I never want to go back. I'm kind of with you, got to say. That's why I'm hoping I get some good samples here coming up that change my mind. There are so many good things to drink. Why go back to bad ones? Exactly. I want Duke to win too, yet, as you say, I'm indifferent. Yep. Let's see here. Sent 10 on PayPal. Got to go. Hit me up if I. Oh man, I'm sorry. First off, Stanley, thank you for that, but I might send that back to you because this is not that kind of bottle giveaway, and I'll explain later. But I don't want to ruin the surprise. Yeah, people, subscribe. I forgot Stanley. Yeah, subscribe to Fun with Whiskey, the Mash Bill, and Prescription Bourbon. All great guys. I'm here at Total Swine and think I'm going to pass on Still Austin CS. Really? I don't know. I've heard good things. Although Noah's Mill, too. I'm only here for comic relief. I suck with links. Fair enough. AZ, I just, I made you a mod because, I think you're a cool dude. During on Redemption High Rye, Bourbon, Single Barrel, Storm Pick, the Oak Presence is so good. What are you looking at? Okay, let's see here. Moving along. I'm trying to catch up. I want to catch up before I bring Anthony on because I know I'm just going to get farther behind. I'm going to pour something. Let me think. Well, Charles, you got some great picks. So I would say no matter what, can't go wrong. Lakers 101 is on it. Last leg. Okay, so Evan Williams it is. There you go. Let's see here. Yeah, I have Highland Park CS batch number 2 for 80. Really? Okay, that seems high. The future is bright. When you arrive there in chat, you will know. Wait, I'm sorry, I'm lost. I must have missed something. Got to crash out, guys. Good night, y'all. Catch you at next. Oh, hey, other Sean, Dimetron, thank you so much, man, for hanging out. I know we're running late tonight. Appreciate it, though. Thank you for being here. Okay, real quick. So I want to get some thoughts on Weller Special Reserve. I want everyone that is in chat right now, and we're going to bring Anthony on. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. We'll catch up later. So everyone in chat, give me your thoughts on Weller Special Reserve. I want your honest thoughts. I don't care about hype. I just want to know, and if you haven't tried it, then let me know that. I want to know your honest thoughts. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it overhyped? Have you never tried it? Whatever your thoughts are, let us know. There we go. Yeah, and Anthony, hop in on this, man. What?
I've never tried it, but it's not stellar. In other words, talk to many people that have had it. If you like the profile, you like the profile. You know, it's just your cup of tea. I picked it up because I literally got it at retail, not the overinflated prices. But one of these days, I'm just going to crack it open and see. I just haven't done it. And then I heard you talk about it. So I turned around and go, wait a minute. I got that back here somewhere. I just moved it. And it's nothing that blows your socks off, particularly at 90 proof. I think that's where they missed the mark.
I agree.
I'm not picking on 90 proofers particularly, but that's all I can say.
You know, so I think you hit the nail on the head there. So personally, I don't think that whiskey, and in particular bourbon, gets real interesting until under proof. That's kind of where I'm at. That's what I prefer. Now, I know some people prefer lower proofs, and if you do, hey, great. There are some interesting lower proof bourbons. I don't think that's the majority. I think those are kind of outliers. You know, I think if you find an interesting bourbon that's in the 80 to 90 range, you've kind of found a gem there because you can sip more of that and kind of chill, and so that's nice. You know, I think Maker's 46 kind of falls in that category, and there's some others for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree with you there.
But, you know, I would say that's, for me anyway, that's not typically what I find. I think usually 100 or 100 plus is kind of where I kind of start really getting interested in bourbon. And so I think you're right, Anthony. I think and honestly, I feel like that's kind of, for me, that's what hurts Eagle Rare. I mean, I can't imagine what a monster of a bottle Eagle Rare would be if it were 100 proof. Because
oh my gosh, I agree. If they would just, I even said at one time, if they knock it up 5 lousy proof points to 95, I think that thing would be better. Yeah. But I like Eagle Rare. I have 3 bottles. I mean, it's just, I like it, particularly if I get one that's really grape forward. And I know it sounds weird, but man, sometimes you get some that it really has a great grape flavor. Then I had one that had a very flat type of grape flavor on it. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it was nowhere near like a couple of the other bottles that I have had. So you never know.
Yeah, and I'm so apparently I got the flat grape.
It happens. Like I said, I polished off my last flat one, but I haven't opened any more because I had 2 bottles of Eagle Rare, and I'm like, okay, well, I know it's pretty much good, and so I just haven't cracked open another one.
Yeah, so I want to be clear, it's not bad.
No,
I mean even the flat grape one, it's not a bad bottle. It's just that when I think about, I mean, we have to be honest here. The hype around this bottle is insanity. I mean, people are like tripping over themselves to get these bottles.
It's like, yeah, it really is. I mean, and especially the price that it's going for now.
Oh yeah,
is redonkulous.
So Anthony, I'm sorry. You've told me, and I've forgotten because my memory is terrible. Where are you at again?
Oh, Sin City.
Okay. So here in Kentucky, and anyone that's in the Kentucky area, Prescription Bourbon, if you're still here, you're probably familiar with this store. So there's a store here in Kentucky that's called Justin's House of Bourbon. And what they specialize in is always having these allocated bottles that are hard to find. Now, you're going to pay a premium. You know that when you go in the store. But they have stuff that no one else has. But at the same time, I've seen the Eagle Rare there for $130.
Yes,
which is totally insane. I mean, because it's not even a $50 bottle, let alone a $130 bottle. So, and what's crazy to me is that they're moving bottles. People are going in there and paying these prices. And I'm not going to go through the whole list of prices, but I mean, there's, like Weller Antique 107 is $300 there, and people are buying them. I don't get it. It's complete insanity. I mean, I'm just baffled by But at the same time, though, you have to respect what Buffalo Trace has done on the one hand, even though they're not profiting from it directly. I mean, they are because the bottles are moving, but they're not getting the secondary prices. But I mean, either way, this hype that they have created around their brand is second to none. I mean, there's no other distillery that has that going for them. So I guess you got to respect it, but I at the same time I hate it because I feel like it's ruining things for people that are new to bourbon. I mean, I think it might be turning more people off than it is on. But anyway, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
And what Steve has up there, I said it before, I'm not a fan of Woodenville standard expression at 90 proof, but some of the store picks and stuff that I have that are 117, 118, oh my gosh, these are absolutely delicious. This just happens to be a particular store pick, but it is really good. And I do enjoy sipping on this, and I have another one back there. And just for some reason tonight, I didn't pick it up. I just pulled this one off the shelf. And so that's what I've been kind of just sipping on.
Yeah. And to me, that's one of the few single barrels that I think just knocks it out of the park. I think that Russell's has done an excellent job with their single barrels.
Oh, I'm telling you, I have been very pleased with that. Of course, the rare breed, the Kentucky Spirit, I mean, those are all absolute hitters for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very, very satisfied with those bottles. Not been disappointed one bit.
Yeah, I would say, just to agree with what Wild Turkey, they know how to make a single barrel. They seem to get what guys like us are after. Whereas it seems to me that other companies are kind of pandering to a more general audience. That's what it feels like. Kind of more approachable, more easy, in my opinion, less interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great for people that are new to whiskey. I think that's great. I think that Blanton fills that role really nicely. If you're new to whiskey, I think it does that really well.
Yes, it is phenomenal. Just reading ahead in chat.
Okay, yeah, I should catch up. So
go ahead. I'm just
okay. All right. So first off, Charles says, totally understand what you meant about Long Branch. So there you go, Anthony. You're getting some love on your thoughts on Long Branch. Glad to catch you guys. I just got in from out of town. Okay, Jack, first off, thank you for being here, brother. Appreciate it so much. Cohen, let's see here. They got your Garrison Brothers for $174.99. Hey, all right. Let me just go ahead and pick that up. The Balmoral. Now, to be fair, I do love that bottle, but it is expensive. There's no doubt about it. Okay, you guys are chatting amongst yourselves, which is great, but I'm going to skip them. It's early here in Cali. I wish it were early here. 1:34 here. Iowa. That means I'm 11 minutes behind chat. I can do this. I can catch up. It's okay, Whiskey Wars. You are here now. Welcome to the now. Okay, yeah. That's because I was lost earlier. Okay, so Wood says, Weller, Special Reserve, overhyped. I agree. But let's get the consensus of the chat here. Swiller, Unspecial Reserve is mediocre, says Cohen. Fair enough. Slapshot, what is up, brother? How you doing? Good evening to you as well, sir. Glad to have you. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Okay, so I told Sean that he should have sent Joe Longbranch to throw off the scent and piss you off. That's fair enough. That would have been fun. Yeah, it would have been fun to get Joe's thoughts on Longbranch.
You should have sent him some Longbranch.
Well, I sent him Woodenville instead because I was curious how he would feel about it, and he ended up not liking it. So that confirmed. So far, that is the 11th person that's tried my bottle that didn't like it. So I feel like I'm in good company. Never had Weller Special Reserve, but I'm not a Weeder fan anyway. Okay, fair enough. Let's see here. Nothing special about Weller Special Reserve. good enough for 25 to 30, which is exactly what I said in my how much should you pay video. If you haven't seen that yet, go check it out. The 107 is great though, and even at the new $50 price point, but not for 80. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. So here in Kentucky, when I can find a 107, which is very, very rare, you know, you got to be there at the store when the truck shows up at the right time, and have the, you know, the stars align and the right amount of money, and pray to whatever God you worship and all those kind of things. So if all those things line up for you, then you can get 107 for something like 60 to 65. I wish I could find it for 50. So good for you, prescription bourbon, that you're getting it for 50. Here in Southern Kentucky, we're not that lucky. Prescription bourbon, the Found North first impression is excellent. Okay, so that was one I was asking about as well. Everything I could wish for at this point. Very cool. Okay, I will have to look out for that, Steve. Weller Special Reserve is decent, $25 bottle. Much like Blanton's, does not warrant anything above retail. Agreed. Decent addition to whiskey collect as a low-end weeder. I'm with you. It is overpriced in most places. Yep. The B-Trace heist documentary on Netflix didn't help prices. True. Nothing has. The Wilderness Trail ride behind you is phenomenal. Okay, so that explains what you were showing off. I also like the Lady Gaga green hair thing. So cool. Wild Turkey is so damn consistent, and that makes them better. Better than, I'm guessing, than any distillery, in my opinion, even over Beam, and I love Beam. So I'm with you. Wild Turkey is always top 2, maybe 3. I don't know. I go back. Either way, top 3 for sure distilleries, in my opinion. I think Turkey does some of the best stuff on the planet. He will not drink it on the lamb. He will not drink it with... Oh, I see what we're doing here.
Yeah.
We're doing Dr. Seuss. Okay, let me get in the right frame of mind. Okay, let's start rhyming. He will not drink it on the lamb. He will not drink it with some ham. He will not drink it anywhere. No Long Branch for Anthony. Don't you dare. I like it, AZ. Thank you for the rhyme. I didn't see what you were doing there at first, but then, yeah. Thank you for the Dr. Seuss. And challenging my reading skills. I was going to do a Beam blind tonight, but realized I didn't have enough glasses to cover my. Okay, I got you. Yeah, so that's why I bought my Libby's glasses, because they came in a set of 6. So that pretty much covers all my blinds I would ever want to do. Because if you get over 6, it gets a little dicey. But yeah, I know what you mean. Because at first I had a set of 4 Glens, and that was not enough. Okay, all I got was a 6-pack of beer. I'm off to the other total swap. Fair enough, Cohen. Sorry you didn't find something you like. All right, and I think you guys are just chatting amongst you. Okay, so I'll read the ones to Anthony here. I have Wilderness Trail store pick 2 fantastic in my top 15. Okay, yeah, there you go. And what beer? Fan of Stone Brewery here. Okay. And then lastly, Anthony says it's around $25 here, so it's a good price. Okay, caught up on chat. Good.
It won't last.
No. So now we can talk for a while, and I don't have to worry about it. So, is there anyone in chat that has not tried Weller Special Reserve, or that thinks that Weller Special Reserve is phenomenal? Because I want some differing opinions here. I want to see some. I want somebody to argue for Weller. So and don't feel ashamed, because if you like a thing, then say it. It's fine. But we're not going to hate on you. And Joe, welcome, my brother. Thank you.
What's up, brother?
Thank you for having me on tonight.
Thank you for having me on.
Let's see here. Can we do it this way? Yeah, that looks a little better.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So Joe, welcome. And if for some reason you're not subscribed to Joe and you're not subscribed to Anthony, then go do those things. And mods, if you could please put their links in the chat, I would appreciate that very much. These guys deserve some love for sure. So please subscribe to their channels. Okay, so let me get back to chat real briefly here. So Old Tub, OD, man, reading is getting hard. Joe, your flight you sent me was fantastic, but man, was it hot. And I'm feeling it now.
Yeah, it was pretty high.
Okay, so ODG bonded. Oh, I'm getting some. What happened?
Did you hear something?
I'm getting a little bit of reverb, echoing. Okay, it's gone. It's gone now. It was just temporal. Okay, we're good. So ODG bonded 114, Jim Beam, SIB, and Bakers, Bookers, and Little Book. Oh, okay, that is a long list. That would be a heck of a flight to do there, Jack. Yeah, so that's 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I'm scrolling over, so that doesn't help. Oh, okay, so 6. No, it is 7 because yeah, that'd be quite a flight to do. I don't think most bourbons with old in the little. Oh man, let's pause. Let's pause for a water break. Anthony, Joe.
Yes, sir.
How's the weather out your way? While we drink some water and get hydrated, how is the weather in Vegas and California? Tell us about it.
Oh, it's just awful here, right, Joe?
Yeah.
We can't stand it. I think it was 90 out here for me. So I was like, oh.
Let's see. The current temperature is 57 degrees.
Oh, no, I got you beat.
Is it 90?
What's that?
Is it 90 right now?
Not right now.
I was going to say it can't be right now.
No, it is not right now. Right now, hold on. I'll tell you exactly what it is right now.
Because Anthony, if it were 90 right now, I would never want to move to Vegas. Because
if 76 right now, but hey, you'll never want to move to Vegas because for it to be 100 degrees at midnight, that's nothing. Just so you know.
Fair enough.
At midnight.
Yeah. So currently here it is. Let me double check. It is currently 39 degrees.
Oh, no, that's too cold.
Not for me. Especially if you have some whiskey in you, it feels just.
Oh no, I got it, but yeah, I left that almost 25 years ago. I don't get into that.
All right, we're gonna try some reading again here. Let's see how this goes. I don't think most bourbons with old in the title are great, with the exception of Crow. Interesting. That's a weird hill to stand on, AZ, but I'll leave you to it. You know, I would say back in the day, probably. I don't know about now. Never had any Weller. Okay, Slapshot. I hear you. Fair enough. Have never tried Weller. Okay, so that's 2. All right, fair enough. And guys, again, I want your honest opinion. So if you've never tried it, if you love it, whatever the case, well, I want to hear honest opinions on this bottle.
Which bottle is it?
Special.
Oh, the Special Reserve.
Yeah. And Joe, feel free to hop in on this, man.
I think it's a nice entry bottle. I mean, I get it that a lot of people hate on it because it's hard to find, but as far as something you can sip on, it's easy to drink. Exactly. It's a liter. You know, it's not bad. It's just, of course, it's caught up in all the hype of its brothers and sisters. Yeah. All the ones that are a little more expensive, like the foolproof and the single barrels and all those other ones. You know, it's caught up in that whirlwind of hype where you go to a secondary store and they're charging $80 for a $30 bottle. So
yeah, and that's my point is, and I haven't cracked mine, that or the foolproof, because I mean it's good. Everyone tells me it's good, but it's nothing that blows your socks off unless you're a particular weeder fan. Well, I do like weeder bourbons. I don't have a problem with them, but I just didn't crack it because no one says, "Oh my gosh, you don't know what you're missing. Open that bottle." I've never heard one person say that. I've never heard anybody say that. And I know people that drink it, and when they can, they'll buy a couple bottles because they're in a state that controls the price. So they're not going to pay $500, $600, $1,000 for a bottle of Weller. You know, they're paying the 25, 40, 50, whatever the normal retail is, give or take a few. But, you know, so they have a couple of bottles. They go, it's just like I said about Long Branch. It has its place on somebody's bar if you're new, you know, oh, yeah, here, try this, because it's a great stepper to get them started and to experience some of these expressions and how they are made, difference between a regular bourbon, a wheated bourbon, a rye. It's not overpowering. It's not overbearing or anything like that. So because no one has specifically said, oh my gosh, you're missing something, I just never had the need or the urge to crack it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I agree with that, Anthony. I think it's a great bourbon it's a great introduction to wheat. If you've never tried a wheated bourbon, it nails that. And this is mine. You know, this is the one I sip on occasionally. If I want something lighter, if I've had like a long hot day and I don't want barrel proof or anything even approaching that, it fills that role really nicely. But it's definitely that for me. It's not something. If I'm in the mood for something interesting, you know, something a little more challenging, that's not where I'm going. But
you should try this MGP if you're looking for something challenging. This MGP is really good.
Let me tell you, that MGP is one of my favorites. That's one of my favorite MGPs. Yeah. So going back to Joe's stream, and if you guys weren't there, then you missed out. It's because you missed out on Joe. You know, just kicking my butt all over the place. But
it was a tie. Tell them the truth. It was a tie.
It was a tie. It was barely a tie. It was so close. I mean, Joe just barely won. Anyway, so but I mean, honestly, Joe sent me some great whiskeys tonight, and thank you, Joe, again. But what I'm surprised by probably most is that I've never had my own bottle of that. So thank you for sending me another one. Because I truly love that bottle. I mean, it was my second place tonight and just barely got beat by the Garrison Brothers, which is another high price bottle. So let's be clear that it didn't get beat by trash. And what was interesting to me is how different that was in my mind. Now, maybe it's just because of the different things that we had going on in the flight or whatever the case, but it seemed really different from the one I had from Charles before. So, and of course, those are single barrels, right? The Jacks, the rye.
Yes, single barrel, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I was surprised by the variance. It was so different from what I'd had before, and not in a bad way. Just interestingly, it was very interestingly different. So that was a cool experience to have. So thank you again. Let me get to a little bit of chat here because I'm getting behind again, about 9 minutes. If you guys are sleeping on Jim Beam single barrel, you guys need to try it. You know, I have. I think it's good. I think for the price point, it's good. It doesn't blow me away, but I think it's decent. There you go. Here we go. Here are the links that matter, though, guys. So this is the link to Anthony's channel, Neophyte. Check him out. And here is Joe over at Indpndnt Joe. So if you guys are not subscribed, watching, doing all the things, hitting the like buttons, do those things. These are great guys, so follow them. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. Let me skip ahead. You guys are chatting amongst yourselves, which is great. Wow. I'll take an old Carter, pretty good whiskey with old. There you go. Yeah. True. Good point, Steve. 77 in AZ right now was around 90 for the high. Yeah, you guys can have that. I'm good. I like the cold. I do. Yeah, now what Joe said, that sounds good. Like 50, like between 50 and 60, that's my favorite temperatures. But once you get into the 90s during the day, I'm kind of angry. So let's see here. I go to Nevada in the summer to cool off, Anthony. Okay.
Come here in July when it's 118. You'll cool down quick.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds.
Well, he's in Arizona, and it's around the same as me, but where he's at, it gets a little warmer. Where my father is, it trumps me by at least 5 degrees. He's down in Yuma, and it's just an oven.
I used to be stationed in Yuma.
Yeah, he's not far from that air station down there. Not far. Matter of fact, we drive past it pretty much to get anywhere. You have to go past it.
Yeah.
Right with the airport. Yeah.
Now,
Sound of Freedom, when I sit in the backyard, flies over all the time.
Anthony, if I remember correctly, you're a military guy as well. Is that true? Right?
I was a civilian employee for the Air Force.
Okay. All right.
So I am a proud supporter.
Okay. Yeah, and I am happy to have veterans on my channel because.
Speaking of that, I finally procured one of these.
Oh, very cool.
The Hero. Sorry, it's focusing in on me.
It's blurry, but I know what it is.
There we go.
Oh, there it is.
So,
nice.
Northwest Bourbon procured this for me and delivered it. So I had him sign it, and then I have other friends who are veterans are going to sign the bottle. I don't intend on drinking it because I have other ones. Pretty much it is this bottle, but the proofs vary. 126, 131, 132. It just depends.
What's that one? What's that one proof at?
One is 125.6. Melvin H. Keebler, U.S. Navy veteran, is the one that selected this one.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
I'm gonna have to go check some of the bases around this area.
What was that, Joe?
I'm gonna have to go check some of the bases around the area and see if they got.
Go to the BX and see what they have. But like I said, I have this expression. Just not that particular one. And this one is 130.9.
Yeah.
So I have it. I can taste it anytime I want. Plus that MGP you just showed not too long ago. That MGP juice, Joe. I got that one too behind it. But so I'm going to have friends of mine that I have around here sign this bottle. Like I said, it's just a keepsake thing. Once I heard it, I was like, oh, I got to have this one. And my friends here at the base down at Nellis Air Force Base out here, it's just not on the shelves. It just went boom.
Yeah.
And I think it's $50.
Yeah.
So it's really reasonable.
Tax free. Yeah.
Well, you took it out of my mouth. I say, and no tax.
So AZ says my screen looks terrible. I don't doubt that. How bad am I looking right now?
Well, wait a minute. You talking about you personally? Because
no, just not me, but the clarity of the screen.
Whatever you do, Anthony, don't make them angry.
That's it.
It has a tendency to try to smack people.
That's it. I just tend to walk up on stage, especially when people talk about my wife's hair. That just sets me off. I don't know what about it. It makes me so angry. People can stab my children. My wife can sleep around on me. I don't care about any of that. But if someone talks about my wife's hair, I just lose my mind. I don't know what to think about it. Anyway, okay, fix your screen. I would love to, AC. I wish I could. So prescription bourbon. This is not what you were commenting about. So 50 degrees up in Louisville, which is strange to me because that's like less than 3 hours away from me, but you're like 10 degrees higher. I guess south of the lake where it's a little bit different. But also, I assume in Louisville, you guys have like actual internet, not this bullcrap that we have down here. We have just fake, like wannabe internet. Anyway, I finally started seeing some Benchmark special releases down here in Texas. Oh, very cool. Yeah, honestly, Woods, we just started getting them beginning of the year here in Kentucky. They were Indiana exclusives, and now we're finally getting them here, which is strange since they're made here. Anyway, but only the single barrel and bottle and bond so far. Okay, still waiting to see the full proof. Yeah, I mean the full proof, as you guys saw in the March Madness, it did okay. It made it a little ways along, but once it got against some more serious bourbons, didn't fare as well. I think it's decent for the price point, but not amazing. Anyway, Indiana Jack and the Temple of MGP. Yeah, exactly. That's what I drank tonight, and it was great. It was fantastic. It's my favorite MGP so far. MGP, exactly. Yeah. And you guys never let me live that down. Just bring it up every week for the rest of my life. I love it.
Well, actually, Adam sent me the first time well, it wasn't the first time, but it had been a long time. The first time I tasted it in a long time was the Weller Special Reserve that Adam sent me on our flight when he battled me on my channel. And he sent me that. I called that weeder I called it a rye. And then I said it was a high proof rye. So I mean, we all kind of when you're tasting things, and it depends in the order you taste something, it can just throw you off when you don't know what it is. You know, your mind's trying to remember everything you've had and how you can relate it to flavors, and sometimes some things just shock you.
I mean, and also like A and D, just I mean, like that. They were so different from. I don't even remember what A was now. So D was that pick by Storytime, and then A, I can't remember, but like I both of those were.
A was the 1792 foolproof.
Oh, that's the store pick. That's right. Yeah. And like still like I cannot imagine a 1792 foolproof tasting like that, but it clearly did. So like I like in it, no matter like if I lived 1,000 years and I had much more bourbon experience than I do now, I still would not guess that. Because it's so different from the 1792 foolproof that I have. What are you trying to show off there, Anthony?
Old Elk Armagnac is going to be my next little sipper.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm sipping on some water because I'm behind on hydration. But
I had some in this form of water.
Okay.
Sweet tea.
I don't know if that counts, but we'll let it pass.
You got to have water to make tea, right?
I think the sugar kind of depletes your hydration level. Anyway, this Hirsch distilled in Indiana is wonderful. Okay, cool. Now, I don't know much about Hirsch. I got a sample from Charles, but I don't know really a whole lot about the distillery, if it is even a distillery. So clearly not, since that's distilled.
Did you like that, what he sent you?
I thought it was good. I mean, so I think it was good at 25 to 30. Now, so here's my issue is that here it's more like 40 to 45. And at that price point, I don't know that it competes very well. But at 25 to 30, it's decent. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but I wasn't offended by it at all. I thought it was fine.
I was irate when I tasted it. I was like, man, this is, and until I got the Wiseman. And then I know you were trying to ask me earlier about Woodford Double Oaked, which I really don't like.
Okay. All right.
It's something about it, something about the flavor, just like nail polish remover. What you were describing on that Woodinville is what I was getting on the Woodford Double Oaked.
So, normally on like a normal bottle, I agree with that. I think it gets towards that same kind of profile that I get on my Woodinville. Now, the one I have is a store pick, and this is more like coffee, dark brown sugars, like creme brulee kind of thing going on. But your standard, like on the shelf, Woodford Reserve Double Oak, I totally get that. I totally get
okay. It. So I'm not crazy then.
Yeah. No, So for me, like when I think about like the double barrel, the toasted barrels, whatever, to me those are all kind of similar. I think the Yeah, 1910. I think that blows it out of the water. I think.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Not even close.
That's straight like that's yeah. The 1910 is like that's one of the first ones where I just like had straight chocolate like flavors coming through, and
oh yeah,
just full flavored different whiskey that I've tasted. I don't know. It was when I first tasted that. I was like sold on it. It was just so good.
Yeah. That's as you know, because you saw my video, and I can't wait for your reply video, but that has become kind of my introduction bourbon, my gateway bourbon for people that are not used to bourbon, because I think it's so interesting that, if someone has never, so some people would go with like Basil Hayden's as like an introduction, and I get that. I know like why that's common, because it's very easy. But I guess to me, my thought is that if you're trying to get somebody into something, I don't know that that's interesting enough to like make them say, wow, this is amazing. Whereas I think that bottle does that. Because several people I've given that to, and they had only had maybe one or two bourbons, and they were kind of unsure. And then when they try that, they're like just in love, because it's so it's so much flavor at a low proof that I think it just like converts people to bourbon lovers.
Where's Charles at?
He said he was busy doing stuff. I was hoping he could hop on, but it is what it is. So here's the thing. We had this whole chat, and I don't want to get really deep into it because I do want to give away this bottle. I'm already kind of making a list. But let's get back to our topic at hand tonight, and that is the Weller Special Reserve. So we had a couple people say they hadn't tried it. Is there any lovers of Weller Special Reserve out there? Are there any defenders of the bottle? I think we kind of have a general consensus so far. Is there any? Because I've gotten most of your guys' thoughts on it. We got 14 people watching. I don't know if we've gotten 14 comments on it. So, folks, again, I want to hear your raw thoughts. What is your thoughts on Weller Special Reserve? Love it, hate it, indifferent, haven't tried it, whatever it is, let me know, because we're trying to give away a bottle tonight, and it is that bottle. So I already know. Now I'm kind of spoiling the surprise, but nonetheless. And by the way, you guys don't have to put in any money tonight for this, so just know that. Although if you do, I appreciate it, but this is not that kind of giveaway. It's a free giveaway. Anyway, Hang AZ says, I was stating that your cracked screen makes it hard for you to read. I'm surprised that you remember that, but yes, that's true. So folks, AZ has been here a while, so he knows. So I'm reading off of a screen that got cracked because one day my wife was chasing the dog through the house, and her arm caught the power cord to my screen, and it fell on the floor and broke the screen. It's only cracked right, you can't see where I'm pointing, over here, so it's not a bad crack, but it is cracked. But I don't care. So it works. Anyway.
Crack is whack.
That kind is for sure. Just remember, when you speak to the chat, you are 20 minutes in the past. That's true. That's true. Although not right now. I'm like, let's see. Right now I'm 11. Then the next comment is only 9, so I feel okay. Got Boulevard Tropical Slam beer. Not familiar with that. Sounds good. Pulled in to the other toll. Oh, okay. Good luck, Cohen. I hope that experience goes better than the last one. The thing is, in Kentucky, people are more decent. So our Total Wines are not the experience that I keep hearing all over the place. Like, they're not like pushing bottles on you. And I even heard that there's like some weird, crazy bottle sharing sex party in some states that's happening. I don't know what Total Wine's doing. None of my business. Whatever. I'm going to stay on that. But here in Kentucky, at least in Southern Kentucky, that's not what's happening. they're pretty cordial and nice and helpful. So I don't get that experience, but I hope the Total Wines in your area get better. Anyway, driving from Phoenix to Yuma is one long, boring drive. Or ride, sorry.
It is too.
I assume that's true.
It is.
Let's see here. I need to pick up a case of Harp at Total Wine. Hard to find these days at most stores. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I once drove from Georgia to here in California, my house, in a straight shot without stopping.
That's a drive.
Yeah.
Man, is that a drive?
Yeah. So anybody saying from within state is a long drive, try that drive.
So my longest drive in one day is from southern Florida to middle of Kentucky, which is a long drive. Still not as long as your drive though.
It didn't take a day. It took a day, almost a day and a half of straight just driving.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I imagine. Yeah. That's a long drive. Yeah. That's most of the country in one trip. Yeah.
Yeah. That was terrible.
I'd imagine it sounds terrible. that sounds like a terribly long drive. My drive is about 13-ish hours, so not terrible, but
that's not too bad.
Yeah. I need to pick up I already read that. Let's move along here. Let's get caught up and then chat about other stuff. Okay, the engineer I worked with in Yuma is now the mayor. Okay, that's interesting. Johnny Yuma. If I was Joe, all my samples would taste like beard. Okay.
That's because you know how over there in Sleepy Hollow, Cascade Hollow, they charcoal filter while I beard filter my whiskeys before I drink them.
That's it. And I think beard filtering is a better quality of filtration than charcoal.
Yeah, it makes it more personal to you.
And also, any Tennesseans that are watching or see this in the future, I just want to let you know that your special charcoals aren't special. Nobody cares. Anyway, moving along. I know you want to be your own thing, but no one else cares. So Sagamore Double Oak deserves to be in the best of double oak whiskey conversation. Thoughts, guys? I think I'm with AZ. What do you guys think?
I haven't tried that one, but pretty much everyone I've talked to that has had the Sagamore in general, they're pretty happy with it. Particularly I think it was the rye. Yep.
Yeah, so I have the double oak rye, and as you can see, I haven't even reviewed it yet, so I need to save some for the review. I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
Yep, that's what I thought. I said, I think the rye is the one that they're really raving about.
Yeah, it's MGP distillate, but the double oaking process just knocks it out of the park to me.
Steve Burkow, as soon as I got home, I slept for the equal amount of time I was driving.
Joe, do you have any thoughts on the Sagamore double oak process thing going on there?
I haven't tried it. It's still in my store. I can easily buy it. And I hear nothing but good things. It's just for some weird reason, I just haven't pulled the trigger on it. Yeah. I don't know why. I do have a Sagamore, but it's not the double oak. It's a store pick Sagamore.
So I would say if you typically like the MGP rye profile and you also like double oak products, it's pretty solid bourbon. Or it's not a bourbon. What am I saying? Words are not working. Everything was true except for the bourbon part. Okay, let's move along.
We know what you meant.
Yeah, that didn't happen. I've got a bottle of Widow Jane recently, and man, was I highly disappointed. Haven't had it, but seems like it's overpriced in most of the areas I see it in, so I'm not surprised.
I have a bunch of those bottles.
I bet you do.
I do.
What are your thoughts, Joe?
I have 5 bottles of Widow Jane, 10-year, 15-year, Decades, and another one. Decades is probably right now my favorite out of the Widow Jane products. The 13 years, okay. The 10-year, again, okay. I guess I have I had better? Of course. Have I had worse? Yeah. So, I mean, it just depends on, I don't know. I've only regretted a couple of bottles, the Wise Man being one of them. And,
Well, so Joe, I was already leery because you know how I feel about the Wiseman bourbon. And so now that I know, because I know I wouldn't, fan is the wrong word. I know that you like the Wiseman bourbon, okay. I know that you weren't. It wasn't like over the moon or anything like that, but you thought it was decent. So now that you're saying that the Wiseman rye is basically terrible,
but remember what I said in the beginning, though. I said this tastes like that I just drunk.
Yeah.
And it changed once I got to the end and went back to it. The flavors changed.
True. Yeah.
But I said it tastes like the Wiseman rye in the beginning. I was like, this tastes just like that mulch under the lawnmower type flavor. And I was just like.
But okay, so then do you think that the proof of the seagrass helped it? Like, do you think?
I just think I honestly think it blends well with other whiskeys.
Okay.
But I couldn't off the rip. If somebody said, "Here, try this," I'd be like, I'd try it, and then I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm not drinking that anymore." And then for the rest of the night or the party, if somebody said, "Hey, you want some of this?" I'd be like, "Nope." I would just keep passing on it, not knowing that it blends well with other whiskeys.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But now after trying it the first time, saw that it blended well, and then now this time, because I gave it to Big Vic.
Okay.
And then this time, not having it after a while, and then being like, "Oh yeah, this is what the heck did you send me?" And then going through and then coming back to it after the mixing, I think it mixes well with other whiskeys that make it, to me, I guess better.
Yeah.
But it's just getting to that point. I would have never really thought about it until today.
Yeah, see, it's I'm always interested by how people's palates perceive different whiskeys, because like I don't get any of that first experience. But then I totally agree with where you ended up at. But as I said when I was on your channel, I don't know if I've ever had it before having anything else. I don't know if it's ever been my first pour of the night. I know it's probably been my second a couple times. I mean, and I've always enjoyed it, but so maybe I could like the Wiseman. I don't know. I probably won't pull the trigger and buy it. I know where it is. I know where it's sitting on the shelf right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of the bourbon, and I've heard, and you're not the only one. You're not alone. There's been a few people that have said it was not great. So
yeah,
it's not high on my list. Anthony, have you had either one of those, Seagrass or Wiseman, and thoughts?
So Seagrass, the what is it? The 16-year-old and the regular one. Right. Seagrass, yes, I like what I call it, the regular Seagrass over the 16-year-old. I just don't feel that 16-year-old's worth $250 for the bottle. It's good, but not $250+ good for it. Especially
Did you buy the bottle?
Yeah. Yeah. And I had the other one for $80, let's say, I think is what it is, 69, 80, somewhere in there. I don't know. But I just thought was as good. And actually for me, I thought it was a little better. So regular Seagrass was good.
See, I like the 16-year, and I've had it fresh, and to me, it doesn't throw you off. For me, it doesn't throw me off or give me some weird flavors in the beginning where I'm trying to figure out like, what the heck am I drinking?
The original seagrass, I got that, Joe. It was like, what is this? You know, and then once I got that first sip down into the second sip and then the third sip, okay, yeah, I got it now. I still didn't get what, I hate to use the term funk, but I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
You know, but then it was good. And I was, okay, I'm understanding it. I'm appreciating it. My palate's, you know, acclimated to it. So at the next second, third, fourth, fifth sip, okay, yeah, now I'm starting to get what the expression is.
Yeah.
But the first sip or so of that, no, it was like, what the heck? And I want to answer Steve Burkow because he asked me about the Old Elk Armagnac. Steve, I do like it. I'm how do I say this? I'm still deciding because I don't have it quite to the shoulder yet. I've got to get another glass down to get it to the shoulder, but I drank one healthy pour out of it a few weeks back, and it's an interesting first sip. And I'm going to say that first sip was just like Joe and I were talking about the original Seagrass. It was something different. Now, I've had Armagnac, and I like it. This is finished in Armagnac casks, and so it is. It's different. I don't know quite how to explain it yet because I haven't quite had enough to really say. But it is not terrible. It is not off-putting or anything like that. The 108 proof. It drinks a little hot right now. I am not disappointed with it at all. I think it tastes good. I get some Armagnac out of it. I'm anxious to see here after I get just a little more out of the bottle and then leave it set just to see how that thing perks up a bit on there. So I guess I'm drinking some now because I just realized that when we were talking earlier, now let me start working on that to really start to learn to appreciate this thing. But I tried it in a store and I liked that one, but that bottle was down a bit and had a few weeks to sit like that before it came back out and people started passing it around. And it had a good sweetness to it, a good flavor to it with a nice spicy bite on the side of your tongue, to which I like in a bourbon. So my wife picked this up for me at it was one of the ones I got at Christmas. And like I said, I'm not disappointed, but the very first pour out of here was just like Joe and I were talking with the Seagrass. The original Seagrass was like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
And to answer Steve's question, yes, this was my first experience since that bottle I gave to Vic. Fun with whiskey. You say you never know. The first pour might matter. I'm not sure what you mean. You should come on and explain what you mean by that.
Probably should, but anyway, so Steve, I'm good with it. I mean, so far.
I think Charles definitely should come on and explain exactly what he means. So let's rally together here in chat to get Charles to come on here. Anyway, Prescription Bourbon said never lick under the lawnmower. I think that's wise advice. Whether it's on or off, either way, don't lick under the lawnmower. Wise advice from Prescription Bourbon. He's a doctor, so listen to him. Joe does not prefer lawn in his bourbon. That makes sense. Not mad at him. Yeah. Who does? Who does prefer lawn in their bourbon?
Well, there's some people who like those wheatgrass shots.
That's true. That's true. You know, no. So back to the seagrass thing. I'm kind of getting more what Joe and Anthony, what you're talking about. Because at first I was kind of taken aback by seagrass because it's very different. But kind of more like Anthony was saying, once you get second and third sip down, then you kind of see maybe you get more acclimated to it or whatever the case. And then you see more what the expression is about. And then it's just, I think it's fantastic. But, you know, to each their own. There's been other people that didn't love it. So, you know, everybody's different. Oh, hey, I am caught up in chat. Look at that. Look at that. Now that I think of it, that's all I got, AC. There's no complete thought there. Anyway, Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. By the way, I was talking about Widow Jane 10-year. Okay. I picked it up at 60, but it's usually 75 to 80 in my area. Okay, cool.
So you got a better price than everybody else.
That's it. And now chat just jumped, but that's okay. Man, I really want to try Seagrass 15. Haven't had it. Joe seemed to like it quite a bit. Anthony thought it was good, but maybe not for the price point. And I am going to go to the bathroom for the third time tonight. So,
Don't
talk
worry, we got it.
else, because I'm a professional and I just walk off camera whenever I feel like it. So that's what I'm going to do right now. You guys do things. Talk about stuff. Talk about whiskey. Talk about women. Talk about whatever you want.
So did you get that old rip this past weekend from Total?
Me? No. I won the chance on a lottery to buy one, and they had about 60 different allocated bottles. They had Weller 107. They had Elijah Craig 18. They had a 15. They had.
Was it a local liquor store?
Yeah. And I've been there since they opened. They've been open 1 year. It was a 1 year celebration, and you didn't have to wait in line. In other words, you didn't have to go in there 2 nights before or a week before. And it's if you're lined up there at 9 o'clock, they came out, seen who was there, cut the line off basically, and then handed those people tickets. And then they drew X amount of tickets, and then the first person drawn got the first choice, second, third, fourth. So they called a number out, and they called 113. My buddy Chris in front of me, he yelled out an explicitive, turned around, smacked me, and said, "That's you." And I said, "What?" He says, "You're 113 because I'm 112. And I looked at that and I go, "You mean they called my number first?" And I was like, "You have got to be kidding me." Out of all these people here, I mean, the line was just, it's probably 200 people waiting to get in. I mean, it was just upset. I went in there and I grabbed the 15 and I grabbed the 10. And basically what I said before that was, I go, "You know what? I just want the 10. If I win, I just want the 10. I'll be fine with that. Just because I got first choice, blah." They called me. I had the 15.
You picked the 10 over the 15 year?
What's that?
You picked the 10 over the Pappy 15 year?
Yeah. Yep. And so I turned to the guy that was next to me and he says, "Which one are you going to pick?" I says, "I really want the 15, but," I said, I had in my head if I won, I would pick the 10. And I said, "I believe in karma." And I said, "You want the 15? He goes, "Well, that's what I came for." And I says, "Okay." I turned to him. I said, "Here's your 15." And I took my 10. And he was just happy. And I was happy just to get first pick.
Yeah.
You know,
How long ago was that?
a week.
Oh,
Today.
nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
a week today. And I picked it up. And then just not too long before, I want to say too long, but maybe a month before, a little bit before, I picked up my Elmer. And that's the one I'm going to give to my dad on his birthday.
Oh, nice.
So this summer I'll put a dent in the Elmer and the Pappy.
All right.
Yeah, but that's just the way Sean is, though. You got to take the good with the bad.
That's true.
Yeah, you're right.
You know,
So,
you can't judge off appearances. Obviously, he has a crack.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Joe. I'm sorry.
Sometimes I'm punching your kids, and other times I'm giving you presents. It varies. Anyway, I'm going to eat on camera because my level.
Because we all love ASMR.
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
I hear it's doing really well on Twitch. Let's see here. Let's get to some chat while I eat. Cigars are so overpriced at Total Swine, it's laughable. I'll take your word for it. Free brisket, egg, and cheese tacos with a cold Budweiser. Nothing better.
Well, Budweiser, there is always something better.
Yeah, that's the one part of that sentence that kind of threw me off as well. I agreed with everything up to the Budweiser.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, so Charles was supposed to be here. Charles, if you're here, I'm going to shame you a little bit, even though I love you. We were going to talk about this Will Smith debacle. That was the plan for the after party. So, Joe, Anthony, I'd love to get your raw thoughts on it, and then I'll go in on it. So just tell me, unbridled, raw thoughts. Let's hear it. What do you guys think? And I don't care that you're not a celebrity or that, whatever, it's been talked about 1,000 times. I want to hear what you guys think about it. So,
I'm a celebrity.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess we're all celebrities, sort of.
On my island. People know me
So,
on my island.
So I don't want to get real deep into like all the, just real quick, give me a quick synopsis. Joe, since you have me on tonight, we'll start with you, and then we'll go with Anthony after that.
I'll go second.
Okay, fair enough. Fine.
I defer my first thoughts.
Anthony, run it down for us.
I think that he jumped the gun. In other words, who doesn't get roasted at that event? And I'm using that term as to say, who doesn't get something?
Yeah.
Now, I do understand that she has, a condition. I totally get that. I know alopecia is nothing to laugh at. And, particularly for
I laugh at it all the time.
Well, you can. But I'm just saying, for a lady, it's hard for them. And
guys
so
don't like going bald.
And like he said, it just had come out that he actually had no idea. And the original joke that he had made wasn't even referring, to that. He didn't know. And one thing they also said to that, there were a couple of other people on before him that made much more offensive jokes. And one of them was to her about her husband, basically saying that he needed permission to do certain things. And I'm just paraphrasing. And a lot of the pundits and other commentators and even radio talk show people, from your morning commute and stuff like that, talked about that and brought it up in different aspects that, he was 100% wrong to do what he did. And particularly there. And if it had been anybody else, they would have been arrested. However, I think Chris Rock was extremely, what's the term I want to use? Poised, controlled in how he handled the situation, and then didn't react immediately. He waited a little bit until things calmed down, not only with him, but everything else, to really look at the situation and realize, okay, he made a comment unknowing to him that she had a condition. And really it was a kind of a offhanded comment or a compliment saying, hey, if there's a new G.I. Jane 2 that comes out, basically she should be in it. She'd be good in it.
Yeah. Referring
to Demi Moore when, she was in that. But like I said, I think it was totally wrong. And he handled that situation inappropriately. But, Chris Rock had a lot of restraint, and I commend him on that for what he did and how he handled it after the fact. And he still hasn't really elaborated on it because, like he said, that he admitted that he said something that he probably shouldn't have, but unbeknownst to him. And he just basically wants it to go. And I'm fine with it. It's up to him. But if it was me or you, I think we would have been hauled right out right then and there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Joe, let's hear it, man.
I think AZ's talking about Bill Maher made a comment that she doesn't have leukemia or cancer or anything like that. Yeah. Alopecia, if you don't know, hits men. 80% of men have some form of alopecia. And that's just drying of the scalp, and it causes hair loss. 60-something% of women suffer from some form of alopecia. So the thing or the issue of people saying, oh, well, he shouldn't have made that joke. That's like saying, like, if you go to a concert, a comedy show, and you're sitting in the audience and there's 100 people in there, 100 men and 100 women, 100, so 200 people in the show, you have 140 something people that may have some form of alopecia. And so what is that comedian supposed to recognize? That, you know, I can't make this type of joke or this type of joke. You go knowing that, especially in that setting, because everybody, if you've seen, I think it was the Golden Globes when Ricky Gervais actually hosted the
Oh yeah. Yep.
He was like really messed up. I was gonna cuss on your channel. I don't know if you allow that, so I won't do it, but
Appreciate it.
he was really messed up in how he was referring to people, and it was almost like it was personal, like he had an agenda to roast people. Not lighthearted jokes, but actually roast. Because if you listen to Chris Rock, he starts off by saying, Jada, I love you.
Exactly.
You know, because they're friends. They're actually friends. And so for Will to get up and do what he did, first of all, he should have did it to Mike Stahl.
Okay.
He shows up late to parties, and anyways. So,
yeah,
anyways,
I know Mike Stahl is the worst. Like Will Smith should slap him every day for the rest of his life.
So,
Mike, thank you for being here, brother.
So, doing what he did, he was walking up to a person who thought of him as a friend, with his hands behind his back, and even leaned in because he thought maybe he was just going to do a fake swipe or a hug or something, because he didn't know.
Exactly. He thought
and he leaned in like, what's going to happen? I don't know. It seems funny. He called him, even when he was walking up, he goes, oh, Richard, which is King Richard, his character, coming up to square me away.
Exactly.
So for him to actually hit a friend, in Chris Rock's mind, he's a friend.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to him, he's not being looked at that way, like that right then and there. And then he goes back to his seat, doubles down, and yells because at that point, everybody thought that it was a skit.
Right.
So if he said nothing and Chris Rock moved on, nobody would have known anything. Because even when I saw it, I was like, damn, that was pretty close. It sounded real. I didn't know anything until I saw him, because, of course, here in America, not Australia and Japan, where everything, they got the full brunt of what was said. All we were, I was looking at was him mouthing, keep your wife's name out of my freaking mouth, out of your freaking mouth.
Yeah. Twice.
Yeah. Twice. And everybody, even Lupita, the African actress, said, when he first said it the first time, she looked kind of shocked. She was like, okay, where's this going? And then he said it a second time, and then she was like, uh-oh, this is real.
Yeah, when you
see the expression change.
Yeah, when you see her face, you know how real it is. Like that's when everybody realized this is not a joke. This is not a joke. This is going nowhere good. Go ahead.
And so then he, and for those who don't know, the police showed up. Police showed up and tried to convince Rock to press charges that they would go arrest him right then and there. Rock said, no, I don't want that. I'm okay. I'm just leaving. So even the producer of the show was trying to say, hey, are you sure? And then once Rock left, the Oscar, I guess, the Oscar Corps was talking, and they're saying, we're going to have him removed anyways. And that's when the producer said, well, I just talked to Rock, and he said he doesn't want that he just wants it to go away.
Yeah.
He just wants this over with. He don't want to press charges. He just wants it to go on. So he went by what Chris Rock did, and Chris Rock was the one who was the gentleman who said, you know what, whatever the situation is, I'm just upset that this whole situation is now going to be blown crazy, and nobody's going to talk about all the good things that happened during the night, like first in a lot of categories, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the next day, of course, you know, Will Smith says if you actually read the apology, and he says, you know, apologizes to Chris right before his apology to Chris, he reasoned why he did what he did. Exactly. Then he said, oh, but I want to say sorry. And then he said, then he made it about himself, saying, I want to be a better man. You know, it's at first he said inexcusable, blah, 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 inexcusable. And then he makes an excuse for it, saying, if, you know, you could say jokes about me, but what jokes about my wife's condition, I just flew off the handle. You know, I just went crazy. It hit me in a different spot. Whatever he said, that's not verbatim.
Which, Joe, if we could pause right there. So that right there from Will Smith is a straight up lie.
Definitely a backhanded apology, AZ.
Because we saw his face. We saw his face when the joke came across.
Or it could be a front-handed apology.
Yeah. So, and we saw Will Smith's face when the joke came across, and he was laughing. He was laughing like everybody else was laughing. And then we all know what happened. When the camera panned away, he saw his wife's face, and then everything changed. That's what happened. So that line that, you know, don't talk about my wife because that hit me different, that's bullcrap. No, it didn't.
Yeah.
No, it did not. That's not what happened. So real quick, going back, you know, you guys covered a lot of stuff there. I don't think Ricky Gervais ever went over the line. I don't think you can. I think words are words, and I think we're adults, and you should be able to handle it. So grow the hell up. Secondly, the kind of behavior that, first off, my personal opinion is Jada is not that chick. She's not the chick I'm making a fool of myself for. Never, ever. If your wife takes you on national television and talks about her affairs for the world to see, that's not the chick I'm defending, ever. No, I'm not making a fool of myself. I'm certainly not slapping a man that's potentially my friend and making a fool of him to defend some woman that cheated on me. That's completely insane to me. Like, I don't even really understand where he was at in his mind. I understand it was emotional and he's going through a lot and all that, but don't take it out on your friends. You and your wife need to have some serious talks. That's what needs to happen. Anyway, Mike, you're not Southern enough to say y'all. Maybe. Will Smith needs to. So yeah, probably for sure. Prayers, anger management, whatever. Meditation, whatever does it for him. He needs something.
He needs Jesus.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's. You know what was most frustrating about the whole night to me? Like, if you want to go up and assault somebody and the elites of Hollywood do nothing about it, that seems par for the course. That doesn't surprise me that much. But then if you want to go up afterwards when you're accepting your award and you want to talk about that you're called by God and you're a vessel of love, get the hell out of there with that nonsense. What are you talking about? You can't slap another grown man and then claim to be a vessel of love. You can't do both things in the same night. Unless you
well, you kind of can't. It depends on the person.
I mean, you can do it. It just looks totally insane. You can't do it in the world. Just be like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, it looks completely insane to anybody else. And then, so I was going to talk about this with Charles, and you know, I feel awkward talking about it because I am not a black man. I don't have that experience. I've been around the community for most of my life.
You don't have to be a black man for a man to slap another man.
No, that's not what I'm about to get into. Although that's something as well. I think that's universal, regardless of race. I don't think your race matters much on that part. But One thing that happened after this, kind of the effects of this thing that happened, that was unsettling, is I saw a lot of primarily sports analysts, because that's what I mainly watch when I'm not looking at whiskey stuff, saying things like, he was up there representing us, or, he made us look bad talking about the black community. And that, no, he didn't. Like, Will doesn't represent black people just like he doesn't represent white people. Like that, I don't like. I wanted to have a long discussion with Charles about this, because I know that this is an area that he particularly has looked at a lot, not just because he's a black man, but also just because he is studied in this regard about the black experience in America. But I hate that anyone even feels that way, because Will Smith doesn't represent black people just like he doesn't represent white people or anybody else. He represents himself and nobody else. I don't think that Charles is going to assault me because Will Smith did. Like that,
he might.
That's an insane proposition. Like Will Smith is just clearly going through some craziness.
I'm just one shade different of Charles, and look what you did.
I didn't do nothing. There was a time in my life that could pop off. I mean, there was a time in my life where I was that guy, but not anymore. I'm not trying to live that life anymore. And so clearly, like others have mentioned, Will Smith needs some serious help. I stand by the awesomeness of Pantera. I agree, Commandante Lou. That's what Will Smith needs in his life. More Pantera. I think everybody does. Everybody needs more Pantera in their life, and less crazy women that, manipulate them and hold their balls in their hand and other stuff that I don't agree with. Anyway, let's move off of Will Smith and get back to whiskey. We've talked about Will Smith enough, and the numbers are dropping, so clearly you guys are losing interest. Let's get back to whiskey and wrap this thing up. We're pushing 2 hours, so I'm about to end this thing anyway. Meshuggah changed my mind. I will. Pantera's better. End of discussion. There's nothing to discuss. Charles doesn't have Will Smith crazy eyes. Charles doesn't have any of that. Charles is a good human being. Will Smith, I don't know him personally, so I can't comment, but based on things I've seen, I don't know. So another thing that I plan on talking with Charles about, but I'm sure you guys have some insights as well, is I remember back in the day, this was kind of when I thought that Will Smith was going off the rails, personally. So I am a big old school hip hop fan. And when I say old school, I mean back before they were cursing and using the N-word all the time and talking, before gangster rap. Old school hip hop. And I remember when Will Smith won his Grammy or whatever for Jiggy With It or whatever the thing is he won. He gave this long speech about how he did it without cursing or talking about women provocatively and all that stuff. I'm sure probably many of you that are around my age or older probably remember that speech. And I just thought that was an interesting moment in life, because he acted like he was doing something groundbreaking when actually there was a decade of rap before that did the same thing, only better, in my opinion, than Will Smith ever did it. So Joe, I know that you're a hip hop head to a degree. I know we've kind of mentioned things here and there, so that tells me that you have some degree of insight into that. So, and maybe Anthony, you too. I don't know. We've never really talked about it, but I'd like to get your thoughts on that, because there's a lot of clean hip hop way before Will Smith even came along. So, don't know that he was doing anything necessarily groundbreaking there.
Yeah, well, I mean, Anthony for sure is a hip hop historian.
I'm just telling you. I mean, now that definitely wasn't my scene, but I do know what you're talking about when he got that Grammy, and I kind of vaguely remember it because it's just like now it was on the news, and I remember that thing. And I can't remember the actual song it was, and I think you're right. But I think that he just ate his words, basically.
Yeah.
This whole mess here, but.
So I gotta address this Commandant Lou, and I love you, brother, but no. Now, granted, I do love the bands that you mentioned. Bands, artists, I guess is probably the better word, because when you're a hip hop act, you're not really a band. That's anyway. So what I mean is pre Will Smith and his clean rap, we had Eric B and Rakim. To me,
they were actually not Will Smith clean. They were more of a political,
well, but I mean,
black power type. You know,
but,
talking about their inner city.
But they didn't.
Eric B and Rakim is definitely. It isn't NWA, but at the same time, it's that step before NWA.
But what I mean, Joe, is that you're not using the B word for women. You're not using the N word extensively. You're not using curse word. I mean, until Rakim's later stuff, they never cursed. So I mean, that's what I mean by clean. Now is the genre different? Sure, I'll give you that. But I'm talking about, like, Will Smith acted like he was the first one to win a Grammy for, and maybe he was the first one to win a Grammy, but that's a whole different discussion as to why that is. But anyway, what I'm saying is he was not the first one to put out clean hip hop, and I think there's a lot of people that did it better, and that's what I'm kind of going through. Now I'm not saying
Eric B and Rakim weren't mainstream. They were known, but they weren't mainstream because of their topic of discussion when they rapped. Because it was more inner city, what's going on, and that's what made them popular, was some of that stuff. Just like EPMD you wouldn't think of as a gangster rap type thing. But at the same time, they weren't crazy mainstream, and probably Will Smith was one of the ones. Ice-T, he went through an evolution too. He did cuss in his raps, but it wasn't, But he also had a lot of different raps, and in the beginning, you could have looked at him in different lights, but he wasn't like a Will Smith who was, to me, like goody two shoes. Maybe he wasn't the first to not has really nothing to do with cussing, but just the subject matter. He was more of a pop rap artist.
Yeah,
he was probably one of the first to do that.
Yeah, I mean, and so I guess that would be true of all of the others I'm about to list. But I mean, so I'm just talking about clean hip hop, as in, there's no cursing, there's no, use of B word, N word, those kind of things that would maybe turn off some folks. Now, granted, the subject matter is different. Like, Skee-Lo, Tribe Called Quest, Pete Rock, Phariside, Big Daddy Kane, Black Star, Big L. All those guys were doing clean hip hop. Now, you may not agree with the subject matter, but I mean, I think from like a rap perspective, especially lyrically, I think they did it better than Will Smith ever did. All those guys.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you got MC Hammer. You didn't bring him up.
He is not. Anyway, I'm not gonna address that.
He actually was the first rapper to actually break through barriers and bring in a whole different culture.
Yeah. No, I mean, people. Yeah. So he's like, so I mean, to me, MC Hammer is like the Black Album for Metallica. And not because of the color, just so we're clear, because that was the metal version of that. That was the first metal album to really hit it big. And so MC Hammer was kind of that same thing. And to me, they have the same flaws. They're both too poppy and not really sticking to the genre they should be in. But anyway, whatever. If that does it for you guys, then great. Let me run through some stuff here. I had all the Def Jam stuff on cassette. LL Cool J. Yeah, there you go. Ghetto Boys, yep. G-Funk Classics, Run DMC. Risky War, I was messing with you about the Meshuggah. Pantera is, yes, for sure, foundation of metal. To me, they were fondly referred to as the Great One, and I think that's mostly true. Ice-T was the OG, absolutely. B and the Hose, and S. Yes, for sure. I was also a metalhead, weird. Redman, Brick City, DJ Jazzy Jeff, and the Fresh Prince. Parents just don't understand. Yeah. Bet Sean has some air fans. Never did. I mean, there was a time period in my life where I liked it okay. It's not my thing now, but, when I was young, I listened to some MC Hammer. I'm not going to act like I didn't. I would say most people.
He was one of the first rap concerts I went to was MC Hammer, but I also went to see Eazy-E with when he was broke up, when he had that issue with Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
Him and with Bone Thugs and Harmony. I saw them in a concert with one of the first rap, concerts I went to. I've been to a crazy amount of concerts. Countless concerts I've been to in my life. So
you're dating yourself though, too, there, Joe.
That's all right.
Everybody already knows 1973. That's me right here. So
that had to have been a heck of a show for sure. Okay, so AZ says his first Raps concert was Ice-T. Okay, cool, man. Well, guys, I'm getting a little bit weary. It's been a long night. I've had a lot of whiskey. I think we're about to wrap things up. We're just a little over 2 hours now.
Cheers, everybody.
Anthony, Joe, thank you so much. Joe, especially for having me on your channel. And Anthony, thank you for hopping on with us tonight. Charles, I'm sorry you weren't able to make it tonight. I wish we could have had you on, really. And again, guys, before we wrap up, please, admins, mods, whatever the case, drop the links for these great people in the chat. So just give people one more chance to subscribe, all those things to these great folks. Anthony over at Neophyte, Joe over at Indpndnt Joe, Charles over at Fun with Whiskey and Prescription Bourbon. All great guys. Give them all a sub. Watch their stuff, all that good stuff. Guys, thank you again. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you to Anthony and Joe. And folks, we will see you next. Oh, yeah, crap. Bottle giveaway. Dang it. Okay, I almost forgot. Thank you, AZ. We can't wrap up yet.
Just give it away next week.
No, because I don't have to, because this is not a wheel or random thing or based on payments or anything like that. So all I was trying to find out tonight is who hasn't tried Weller. And there was only two options, Slapshot and AZ were the only two that said they had never tried Weller. There may be others that have been in the chat, but they didn't say so, and that's what I was asking for. So AZ, since you have been with me since the beginning, and you were one of the only two people that said you've never tried it, now you're going to get to. And you can thank Katie Turk and Ethan Turk for that bottle, because it was their bottle. And I talked with them and they said they don't need it. They said, give it away to somebody that has never tried it. Give it away to one of your patrons, somebody like that. And so I said, that's great. So that's why there's no charge for it tonight. Nobody has to put in for it. So AZ, you are getting a bottle of Weller Special Reserve. Now you can say you've tried it. And share it with folks. Don't sell it. I will find you. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it, brother. Thank you for being here week in and week out. You deserve it, man. And I hope you enjoy it. I really do. And if you don't enjoy it, at least you've got to try it. So let me do this real quick. In case you don't know, let me find my email real quick so we can communicate, although there's probably other ways we could do it as well. But let's see here. Finding the thing, copy this. Here we go. There we go. There is my email. So AZ, hit me up on the email so we can communicate and I can get your address and get that bottle out to you. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah. Yeah. So real good. Let me run through the last bit of chat here and we'll wrap up. No, I will drink it. You better drink it, AZ. Appreciate you coming, Dante Lou. Yes, for sure. Appreciate all you guys. Thank you, everybody that stayed with us. I know it's been a long night. You were with us over at Joe's and now here, and then we're pushing into 1 o'clock Eastern time. So thank you guys. Sean has a special set of skills for people who resell giveaways. That's true. I will find you. I will make it my mission. I have nothing but time, folks, so I'll find you. Anyway, congrats, AZ. Thank you for everybody again. Anthony, Joe, thank you for hanging out. We will see you guys next week. Next week, we'll be back at our normal time, 9:30 Eastern, doing the live. Thank you guys again, and good night. Sub to these guys. Sub.